Welcome back to UltraChenTV, to the Tuesday show in particular. This is a year review for 2013, this being our first show in 2014. So we talked about random awards that we gave out, and we talked about who or what has flown under the radar, but now let's talk about top 3 FGC members. Not players in particular, but just people in the
people
FGC.
who are helping and contribute to the community and such.
Yeah.
In third place, and it actually, for me, in third place, and it actually pains me to put him in this category now, is Combo Fiend.
Oh, wow.
Because he was a player,
Sure.
but obviously he's not playing as much anymore. But his task right now of trying to balance Ultra Street Fighter 4, and, I've had talks with him, and, he's had to endure a lot of, very angry people when they hear changes and stuff like that. It takes a lot of work, not only to balance this game, but also just to, be able to convey the message out to people on why you're making changes. Right. I mean, he told me like a great story where someone in the Japan arcade saw the changes for Guy and just tweeted him like, "You destroyed the character, he's terrible." And like, he wanted to quit playing the game. And he was in line to play. He hadn't touched the game yet. And then after he played it, he retweeted him and was like, "Never mind, Guy is really awesome in this version, blah, blah, blah." So, that kind of stuff, it's hard to deal with, but Peter's done a great job with this. He's been representing really well. He's been traveling a lot. We've never had a location test with the changes on paper and on boards that are sitting out there. That is no doubt a lot of it, that credit goes to Combo Fiend. Yeah. And so he is doing an amazing job right now with his interaction with people, so I really had to give him this award. As painful it is for me
that's a good pick.
Consider him not as a player anymore.
I hear you.
So
I think that's a good pick, though.
Yeah.
I am also gonna pick a former player. Well, I guess all of them are former players. Really. Maybe more notable player. Let's say that it's Mike Watson.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's Mike Watson. He has put in so much work, and so much time, and so much money into Super Arcade, and that's not easy. It's obviously the fighting game community has been a huge part of his life, for most of his life at this point, and he's been trying to give back, and he's been trying to have a business while doing it, and that is not an easy combination of things. It's really not, and Super Arcade, of course, is the home of Wednesday Night Fights and the Run Back, and those get a lot of viewers. And on those nights, lots of people show up, but it can be a struggle other nights.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of extra things there too. That obviously arcades these days are not abound in a lot of places. Like Southern Hills Golfland is the perfect example, right? The city rezoned it into a residential zone because they just didn't want arcades in their cities anymore, right? So there's a lot of little things like that. Like I talked to Mike one time. I was just like, why don't you sell more food here or whatever like that, like have a pizza oven or whatever. But, there's a lot of restaurants nearby.
Right.
And one of the things that they're happy about is that they bring in people who buy food.
Right.
Right? And if we take that away from them, then they're probably going to try to find a way to get rid of an arcade from their shopping center, right?
Anyway, so it's not easy. It's not an easy business, but I'm really happy that he's still doing it. It's one of the few arcades left in the whole U.S.
Yeah.
Fighting game-centric arcades, let me say.
Do you know how well Arcade UFO is doing right now?
I know it's still doing, but I don't know how well in particular now.
Cool.
All right, second place for you.
Second place for me, kind of going along with one of your random awards. I'm giving this to Pat the Flip, a.k.a. Patrick Miller, because I feel like he's the one who's kind of jump-started the improvement in the discussion, writing, articles and such of the fighting game community. He's been pointing out a lot of things. In fact, there was that MIT conference recently. He wrote a really nice rebuttal to it without being like, "Hey, you guys die in a fire." It was actually a well thought out article and such like that. So I feel like he's doing a lot to improve discussion and just in general talk about the community, and we've needed that for a very long time. So
okay, cool. Next up for me is Lapchi. Dude has spent who knows how much money. I had a lot of money trying to make a major happen in Western Canada, and Canada Cup has been great. It's really been one of the greatest majors that we have every year. The level of talent that goes to it is unparalleled by all but just a handful of tournaments. People come from Asia and all over North America and Australia and whatever, and that's been really nice to see. It's great for Western Canada itself. It's the first time that they've had that kind of major.
Right.
There have been other majors in Eastern Canada, but it's like pretty far away. It's not easy for a lot of those people to get to. So that's been great. I like that he's been trying to do that, and I like that he has just spent so much money. I mean, I wish he didn't have to do that, but his idea is to try to make things work, and he does it out of love for the fighting game community, not expecting any financial rewards because there aren't any.
Right.
But he's been trying to make it work anyway, so I think that's really cool.
Yep. Okay. Well, my number one is a very biased number one.
Yeah?
Yeah, because he works harder than anybody that I swear in the fighting game community.
Yeah.
We talk shit to him all the time. I have to give props to Mondo.
Ooh, yeah.
To Armando, kind of going along with Mike Watson, side of things. That guy streams 5 days a week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then on Monday and Tuesday when the arcades close, he's often in there fixing machines. He's there super late. He wakes up super early. Yeah. He's the reason why we are able to watch a ton of these events. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's traveled and done like Texas Showdown earlier this year and such.
Right, he streams with Level Up and also with his own IE Battlegrounds.
Yeah. And so, dude, that guy... Seriously, I have not seen very many people work as crazy as him. Yeah. I mean, every time I see him, it looks like he's just massively sleep deprived. So.
Yeah,
because he is. So I seriously have to give him shout outs. That man is like the hardest working guy in the FGC right now. So
okay, all right. I think that's a great pick, and I kind of am jealous of that pick. I didn't think about it. My number one goes to Keats. Goes to Adam Hart.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. The reason twofold. I really love UFGT. I think that tournament is awesome. Right. It's awesome for the players that come, for the quality of the games that seem to always happen there, quality of the matches. But just as importantly, or maybe more importantly, he makes it so that it's fun for everybody else. There's things, there are things to do there, apart from just playing. Yeah. You go 0-2 in whatever game it is, then you're done. No, there's a lot of stuff to do there, and that's something that most tournaments don't have.
Yeah, it's the special personality of that tournament.
It definitely has its own personality. Yeah. And on the other side of things, he's also built a fighting game. I mean, he made a fighting game. It's Dive Kick, and again, I really like that game. But even if you don't like it, you have to recognize that he's put in a ton of time to try to make a game for fighting game players and to try to please the fighting game community. And a lot of it is built on fighting game community centric jokes. It's a homage to the fighting game community. Right. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So both of those things, I think he's a good pick.
I mean, a lot of people I see in chat are wondering about Spooky, right? I mean, we all know he's worked hard. Look,
the reason I didn't pick him is because he won the Canon Award this year.
Right, exactly.
Same with Alex Valle. They both won at Evo. This is given out to people who have been like particularly great for the fighting game community for that year. They both won it, and like UltraChenTV's awards is not going to be the same level.
Right.
Okay, so.
And plus another thing is, we've always talked about Spooky and how amazing he is for years and years. I want to give the opportunity to thank other people, that may not necessarily get the credit.
Right.
Because Spooky obviously gets the credit. Everyone knows how hard he works. So there you go.
And there are lots of other good people that we could have picked too. But
yep.
In any case, that's that. Let's move on to the non-stupid drama story of the year. Top 3, go. Number 3.
So number 3 for me is kind of a little more of just because I'm a fanboying a little bit here, but to me, Sako winning Capcom Cup was a pretty important story for me because, I'm a fan of Sako ever since, he well, I mean, I was even a fan of Sako before that because he was a vampire savior god, right? So, but then he was also, the Kami Pro for most of Vanilla and Super. And to see him succeed at Capcom Cup was awesome.
Totally.
I mean, I said this at Capcom Cup. I was happy to see him have success in that game because he hasn't had a lot of very public success with that, I actually got a lot of people yelling at me like, what are you talking about? Sako's amazing at the game, whatever like that. But you read the interview that he had with Famitsu, and he even said it himself. He's like, I haven't won like one of these official kind of tournaments and stuff like that before, and he was really super happy that he was able to do that.
Okay.
I'm thrilled that he was able to win, so, because I've been a Sako fan forever, so yeah.
I think that's a good pick.
Yeah.
My third place goes to Sanford Kelly at NEC.
Yes.
To his challenges, Sanford Against the World. I just thought that was really awesome that he wanted to challenge people, and it's a big thing for him to try to get other people motivated and to get himself motivated too. And he did that, and he had some great sets in doing it, and it was really awesome and kind of inspirational for everybody else to watch. So
good.
I thought that was one of the most interesting and like fighting game community-esque moments of the year.
Yeah, so. I agree. Okay. Second place for me was Ultra Street Fighter 4 being announced.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because here's the thing, right? Capcom, a lot of people talk about Marvel as kind of reaching the end point right now because, you know, the characters who are so good are so good. We're not getting as many new people playing the game anymore because the barrier of entry is very difficult in this game, right? Cross Tekken is not... Sorry, it's not going anywhere right now. And so, you know, the Vampire Collection didn't sell well enough, so they're not making a new Vampire game. So what is Capcom doing now, right? Well, how are they going to stay relevant in the fighting game scene? And Ultra may have the potential to revive a Street Fighter 4 franchise that's also kind of, you know, dwindling down to Vortex and kind of that kind of game. And so it brought a lot of new life, and a lot of people were excited about it. On the other hand, I do have to do one flip on that and say this fifth character crap just needs to stop now. But that, anyways.
I don't know if that's even a story for 2013 because it's not announced yet.
That's true. Right? Dude, if we had negative story awards, I would give it to fifth character. I would have given it to fifth character, but
let's do that next year.
Okay.
All right. Well, speaking of Marvel 3, my second place is the boiling down of Marvel 3.
There you go.
It's becoming very difficult for people to enter. There's just gigantic executional requirements for most of the cast at this point.
Right.
I mean, obviously, it's awesome to watch, and the stream numbers are not going to go down, I would think, because it's just really fun to watch. But as far as playing it, I don't expect that many more people to play it. The strategy in it has really been boiled down in terms of who the good characters are. But even on top of that, what you can do in the game and whether the neutral game can be relevant in a lot of matchups. Because in some matchups, in particular against or in high tier versus high tier matchups, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. There are 10 seconds of neutral game action, and then it's a blow up for the rest of it. And there are matches, of course, where it's all about neutral game, like with Morrigan, and she's super good at it. But it's only because she is so oppressive as Mordoom that's even a thing.
Right.
Okay. So and Izero can do it too, but he's again super oppressive at doing it, and very few other characters can do it. So.
Yep.
That, I think, is really too bad, and I don't expect that there will be many more people picking it up. And like I said, is it going to be less popular on stream? Probably not, because it's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm getting bored of it, and I've talked with some of the players who are top players who are making the game, who are investigating the strategy at the top level of things, and they're getting bored of it.
Yeah. I've had a lot of the same, and of course. The coda with that whole thing is like there's just no patch coming for it.
There's
right?
not.
So it's very unfortunate. It's going.
As far as we know.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Okay.
Okay, third number one.
Number one story of the year. I mean, to me, I feel like without a doubt is Smash Brothers Melee getting banned by Nintendo and then reinstated.
Okay, well that's my number one too.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, the fact that
just Smash at Evo in general, including that part of the story.
I mean, to me, it was just an amazing story because it had been there, the whole donation drive thing,
right.
the breast cancer thing, how much money it raised, all this stuff. And I still remember on the day that I was flying to Evo, right before I got on the plane, they were like, Nintendo banned Smash from the stream. You cannot stream it. And I was like, this is the worst thing that could have possibly happened. And I was like, no. And I didn't even, like, my heart sank.
Me too.
And keep in mind that California and Vegas are very close, right? So I flew to Vegas, got off the plane, turned on my phone, and it was like, Nintendo has allowed it again.
That's like a 45-minute flight.
Yeah, and that blew my mind. Like the fact that the community turned it around that much, that they blew it up that much, that it got into Evo, and yeah, to me that was just the power of social media and just how, how crazy things have gotten.
It was definitely the fighting game community involved in that, but it wasn't just the fighting game community. There were lots of other game websites, lots of other internet websites that
news media,
focused, news media in general. Was all about it. It was covered in like some major mainstream publications. Yeah. And yeah, we convinced Nintendo to back off. And then after that, Smash, the actual tournament itself was awesome. I loved watching Melee there. So sick to see wobbling. Oh my god.
Every time I see it, I get hyped.
All the Smash players were mad, and we were like, this is the greatest thing.
Well, I remember Wobbles actually saying that he always gets booed for that, but at this Evo, when he landed it, the audience cheered, and it was so weird for him that it actually was just like, what the heck? And it was like a really turning point for him. It was like one of the reasons why he felt like he did well. Cause
it's weird to me, because that community accepts a lot of broken stuff about its game. Well, maybe not broken, but very strong and oppressive stuff as far as what some of the characters can do, but not that. I don't know why. It seems very weird to me. But in any case, that's my top non-drama story of the year too.
Okay, cool. Do you want to do one more?
Let's do one more, yeah.
Which is the non-evo event of the year, right? So, my number 3 is the same as your previous number 3, pretty much, because I put NEC there.
Oh, okay, sure.
Because of what Sanford did. Because here's the thing, right? Obviously, we have Evo tournaments, and we have tournaments like CEO, or, they're all trying to become bigger, more professional, and everything like that. But you always have to remember where the fighting game community came from, right? NEC was a perfect example. And, of course, with Big E running it, he runs 4 events a year. It's the perfect example of the grassroots tournament here. So much to the point that when Sanford started doing the call-out stuff, they just let it rock. There was no schedule. It wasn't like anybody was like, "No, stop. We have to move on. Let's do, take it to the side. Let Arturo film this or whatever." No, they had it on stream. They filmed Sanford pointing people out. They just let it rock, and it was seriously the most hype thing that I have seen recently. I was jumping up and down. Like, I was in my home myself, cheering and yelling and screaming. Yeah. And it was just super exciting for me. So yeah, very similar to
that was one of the ones that I was definitely considering, because it wasn't just that. The actual game tournaments themselves were all really good.
Yeah, just as a side note, I did have Sanford calling him out as one of my stories, but I saved it for the event. So there you go.
Good stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Number 3 for me is Civil War. Civil War in Richmond, Virginia. The reason is I feel like it is the oldest school of majors that I've been to in a long time. I feel like when I go there, it's like I'm going back in time.
It's called Civil War.
Right? Yeah, that's true. I think that's what they're particularly trying to do, but it's successful if it is. Just like the way it's run, the size of it. It's just in some hotel ballroom. They have a bunch of arcade machines that they bring in. So there's a little arcade action going on. It just feels like how tournaments used to feel. And I think that's awesome, because most of the tournaments, a lot of the tournaments anyway, don't feel that way anymore. They still feel good. They're just different. Different kind of feeling. And that's the one that most preserves that feeling for me.
Oh, nice. Okay. Very same kind of thing, grassroots kind of, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, for me, number 2 was Mad Catz Unveiled at Tokyo Game Show. That just took place in Japan. So for those of you guys who don't know, they had the Mad Catz Unveiled. They had all the special matches, including where Daigo Infiltration took place, right? So Daigo Infiltration, they also ran the qualifier tournament that occurred there too. So Daigo Infiltration, great match. And then just watching Haitani just get through that bracket, and that match that he had with Mago at the end was so epic. It was so good. And so I really enjoyed that event. And to me, one of the most significant things about that event was that it is an American company running a tournament in Japan.
Okay.
And, obviously Japan runs a lot of their own tournaments. They've always been single elimination, single character, and all this stuff like that. Due to time constraints, they had some stuff that they had to do. But the intention for the tournament, the qualifier tournament, was to be 2 out of 3 double elimination. Just didn't end up that way.
Right.
But, you know, it's very interesting that they were able to set that up there and get all that stuff going at Tokyo Game Show. Like, so for me, it also signifies a little bit of this marriage between, you know, the American gaming community and the Japanese gaming community. Okay. And I hope to see more of that in the future. So
cool, man. I think that's a real good pick. My second place goes to UFGT, which probably kind of makes sense, I guess, because I had already brought up UFGT.
right.
Weird otherwise. I love how it's run. It's while still being very fun and community feeling, it's very different from the Civil War kind. So it's run very punctually. You can be sure that if you're there on time, things will go, and if you're not, sorry, you're screwed. It's up to you, which I really like. And other than that, there are lots of things there that aren't just the tournament itself. There are lots of other diversions and games that Keats and other people make that show up there that are really fun. They have the random games tournament.
The auctions.
Right. The auctions are really interesting. But no, they have the random games tournament too, or whatever it's called.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I feel like that's not the term for it, but you know what I'm talking about, where they pick like whatever
the
old school
game or whatever it was,
hidden
secret
game
or something like that.
I don't know why I'm blanking, but that's really fun, and they use that to fill up the time on stream.
Right.
So there's no downtime. It's just like a lot of really creative stuff like that I like.
Yeah, even like at UFGT 10 this year, they're doing that UMVCX tournament.
Yeah, we will definitely be talking about that in the future.
Yeah, so
that's a cool idea.
Yeah. So. Okay. So mystery game tournament.
Oh yeah, mystery game.
That's what it is. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Art3L, I think it is, or Artel, or whatever it is. So okay. My number one tournament of the year, non-evo tournament. I'm wondering if it's the same as yours.
It probably is.
It's Capcom Cup.
Yeah,
right?
it was Capcom Cup.
Capcom Cup. I mean, to be honest with you, like one of the reasons why I think I enjoyed it so much is because it was probably one of the fighting game events that I did the least amount of commentating at, and so I just got to chill and hang out. And like I said, while watching Marvel, watching Yipes go through, and then like I said, just sitting next to PR Balrog was just made that thing so entertaining. But outside of that, you know, the matches were hype.
Matches were great.
The event was really well run, and also, you know, it's Capcom running the tournament.
Right, that's great. It's a good sign.
The significance of that, and having Ono there, and, you know, hopefully...
I mean, it was free to get into.
Right.
They had Ultra there as a beta test. They had a lot of stuff for people who showed up. So.
Yeah, so if it gets to that... Like, if Capcom Japan was watching very carefully... You know, I hope they were, you know, maybe they'll see it as a success, because even Hunt said that it was like one of the top 3 tournaments that he's ever had fun doing. You know what I mean? So if Japan is watching it and they start pushing further with this,
it'd be nice.
It can only get better. So.
Would be really nice. Okay, let's take a break.
Well, did you want to say anything more about Capcom Cup? Or?
Pretty much sums it up, I would say. It was a great tournament. Cool. I think it's deservedly number 1.
Okay. All right. So we'll be back with the last 3 awards. So.